Hello students, welcome to Java programming course and Unit 5 according to JNTK Kannada R19 regulation. It's the last unit, consists of 3 chapters. This is chapter 1, string handling, and this is composed in 5 or 6 videos. This is video 1. And these are the topics to be covered in this video. Introduction to strings in Java, interface, charSequence. charSequence is an interface which can implement by strings, and class string. Coming to topic 1, introduction. String is probably the most commonly used class in Java and also in Java's library, because every language or any programming language uses these strings in programming for modifying or doing some operations on the strings. So for this reason, we consider these strings are a very important part of programming using any language. Generally, we consider a string is a sequence of characters in Java, and that could be implemented as string objects and of type string. And next important thing is strings are immutable. Immutable means once a string object is created, its contents cannot be altered or cannot be modifiable or cannot be changed. That it means the string objects are unchanged. Okay. Next one, while this may seem like a serious restriction, generally once we create an object of string class or holding some strings, and as an user we are trying to change or applying some operations or changing operations, alter operations, then it doesn't allow you to modify. And some of the programming concepts for designing specifically for strings, maybe in that case we feel that as a restriction of doing this one. But actually this is not in Java like, for 2 reasons. First thing is, when we want to change a string, right, we can always create a new one that contains that modifications to the existing string. That it means that is possible only by creating a new object that contains the modifications. And the second one is, Java provides 2 options. Extra 2 classes has been provided by this Java package: string buffer and string builder. String buffer and string builder. These are the 2 classes specifically designed for this modifying the strings in Java. Both holds strings that can be modified after they are created. After they are created. Got it? So that's why we cannot feel that as a serious restriction that strings are immutable, not changeable. But we can modify the strings objects created by using these two options. That it means first one, by creating a new object of the string that contains the modifications to require the existing string, and two classes specifically designed for these modifications of string, that is string buffer and string builder classes. Next one, these two classes, string buffer and string builder, these two classes are defined in java.language package, and we can invoke these two classes into all our programs automatically. That it means they are available to all programs automatically. We can make use of these classes when we require to modify the changes to the existing class string objects which holds the strings. Next one, all are declared final. All are declared final, which it means that none of these classes may be subclassed. All are declared here is about string buffer and string builder. Both are classes defined in the package as final. That means that no one can be subclasses of this one. That it means not for inheritance. Next one, however, all three implement character sequence, charSequence interface. What are three means? String class, string builder, string buffer, and string builder. So all these three classes, string, string buffer, string builder, three classes implement that charSequence interface, and we'll see this one in the next topic. That is called the first one, interface charSequence. So anyway, in Java, string is considered as a class, not a primitive type, that implements three types of interfaces called serializable, comparable, and charSequence. Currently, we are talking about this charSequence, and we will talk about these two later. A charSequence is a readable sequence of characters. The name itself saying the charSequence is nothing but sequence of characters. And we studied in the first slide that string is a sequence of characters. So the reason behind that string is a sequence of characters, nothing but why? Because in Java, string class implements this character sequence. That character sequence is a readable sequence of characters. And this interface provides read-only access to many different kinds of sequence of characters. So that's why the strings considered as immutable. And here we have only read-only access to many different kinds of character sequences provided by this charSequence interface. And it is implemented by all these three classes, string, string buffer, and builder classes. And these three classes can be used for creating strings. And remember this one, when we are trying to create a string in Java programs, we must use any one of these three classes only. And these three classes implements that character sequence to organize strings into string objects as or as string objects. So take this character sequence here. This is an interface, and the three existing classes in java.language package implement that character sequence interface. So first string implements, string buffer implements, string builder class also implements. So this character sequence is nothing but an interface, and all these three classes are called classes. Okay. Next one, the methods provided by the interface called character sequence, and we already know by name the methods here. Char at, it's a method, takes index value. It returns the character at specified index. And the length function, which returns the length of this character sequence, right? Character sequence. In this sequence, based on the index, we can get that character of that index. Subsequence, it returns a new character sequence. New character sequence, that is a subsequence of this sequence. Subsequence of this sequence, and based on two index values, start index and ending index. For example, when we take this like hello, and we can get some substring like he. He is a substring of this sequence called hello. And two string returns containing the character in this sequence in the same order as this sequence. And we are familiar with this method, converting other type of data into the string. We used this toString method in the previous topics. The same here also, sometimes we use this toString method, and we will discuss clearly in the next upcoming topics. Next one, class string. Coming to the basic. How to declare a string object of this string class. Based on the constructors provided or maintained by this string class. So here this string class supports several constructors. The first one is, this is the constructor with no parameters. No parameters here. So we call this as a default constructor. So this is default. And another type of constructor is takes one character array object. Array object, that always be character array. Another one is constructor with array object, character array object, and two index value, or one index value, start index, and one integer parameter for how many numbers to be considered from this starting index. From this starting index to that given number. So this third one, constructor, takes one character array object and two integer values. The first integer value specifies the starting index, where to start the character index, and how many number of characters we can read from the string. So this type of constructors mainly used in string declarations. Okay. The first one is to create an empty string, call the default constructor as usual. For example, like this. This is the programming instruction step for creating an object or instance of a string with no characters in it. With no characters in it. So here it is string object is nothing but this object name is S. S equal to new string. So this is default constructor. This one is the default constructor. Got it? When we create an object of this string like this, that instance of string contains no characters. Next one, to create a string, initialize it by an array of characters. Then we use this type of constructor. String takes one string character object, array. String character array. So first, you need to define one character with some length and characters that are initialized into that array called character. So here, now I'm creating an object of this string class S equal to, I'm calling constructor with that created array object. So I'm passing here array name as a parameter to this constructor to create this object of the string for taking the same values that are initialized into that character array. So this constructor initializes the string object S with string called ABC. So here this statement reflects in a way that, so this is considered as a CHARS. This is the character array name. And here it has three locations to hold the values A, B, and C. And as this array starts the index with 0, and the length of this array is 3. Index range is 0 to 2. So the length of the string is 3. So when we assign this array of char to a string object, then it takes total characters that are held by this array as a string, like that. Even this string object organize these character sequence like a array. Same as the index of this string object of this first character is 0, and second character of the string index is 1, and this is index 2. Got it? Next one, another constructor we discussed as a constructor of class string. Here, this one, string, one character array, starting index, and number of characters we're going to read. So here start index specifies the index at which the subrange begins, from where to read the characters of given string. And number of characters specifies the number of characters to use or number of characters to extract. Here is an example that, so I have defined here one character array with this values, as I told you in the previous one, ABC. Here now it is A, B, C, D, E, F, total 6. Size of this array is 6 elements. Index range is 0 to 5. 0 to 5. And I'm creating a string object S with this constructor type. So here this constructor has 3 parameters. The first one is character array name and starting index as 2 and number of characters as 3. So like this, right? Now, as I told you that this string object organizes the characters of the string initialized into it as an array. Then the string array also starts with index 0 to the values of this index to the individual characters of the string A, B, C, D, E is like this. So what we are doing here, the first thing is do these 2 integer values, 2, 3. So 2 is the starting index where you want to subring begins. That it means this one at C. And the 3 is considered as total number of characters to use or extract. That is 3, including this one. So C, D, E. So this part of subrange or substring is coming to use initialize this one. So already one character array is there with 6 values, but I am initializing this string object S like this by using that character array with specified starting index 2 and total number of 3. So that's why this string object is initialized with the characters of that character array C, D, E. Now when we are printing this object of this S, it displays the value of that string as C, D, E. Understood? Next one, we are now coming to the construction of string objects. Okay, so now we will see some examples like here. Okay, to construct a string object that contains the same character sequence as another string object using this constructor. So this is the considered some of the operations we're going to see here. Here, string object is a strobj is a string object here. We are using this object of another string to initialize our current declared string object. So consider and try to understand the concept from this example here. So I have a character array with characters JA, BA, Java. When I'm initializing my string objects S1 with this character array C. So simply when it displays on the screen as Java. Okay, it displays on the screen. That it is constructed S1. String object S1 is created with character array Java. Okay. Now observe here, this is the step here. I'm using another constructor to initialize my another object is S2, string object S2. Now I'm taking this constructor with string object, another string object. So S1 is an already created string object. Now I'm using this S1 to initialize my S2 object of the string. Yes, it is possible, and the operation it do is whatever the string 1 characters sequence contains by this S1 object, all character sequences copied into this S2. Or simply S2 is another reference to the string created in the memory. And come to this. This is also can understood that. So consider this as a memory, right? So I created one string that it is Java. If the object reference to this is this one. Now by this step here, so S2 also another object reference to this string created is Java. Okay, so S2 displays the same Java, and it doesn't have any other specific memory for this, and it simply refers to the existing string called Java. Next one, Java's cat type uses 16 bits to represent the basic Unicode character set. As in Java, generally it uses Unicode character set. So it requires 16 bits to represent character. So we know that in Java, strings with size 16 bits, that it is 2 bytes. But as we learn in C and C++, so strings are organized character that consume Java character type, right? Not string. In C and C++, character type with 1 byte, that is 8 bits. But in Java, character type uses 16 bits. But we studied in the basic introduction part of this Java. Java mainly designed for the applications in internet. So this point is related to that. The typical format for strings on internet uses array of 8 bytes. 8 bytes means 8-bit bytes means 8-bit bytes. That it means 1 byte. That it is 1 byte. 1 byte equal to 8 bits. So in generally internet uses 8-bit sequence of character, 8-bit size of characters using ASCII character sets. But Java uses Unicode character set, that it is represented by 16 bits, whereas this ASCII character set uses 8 bits. Then how can we compatible these two things when we are working with this internet issues and applications? So, however, this 8-bit ASCII strings are common in real time. So here the string class provides constructors. So for this purpose, the string class or a class string provides some constructor that initializes a string when given in a byte array. So whatever we going to work with this internet type of things where it supports ASCII character set with 8 bits. So this string class provides constructors that initializes a Java strings given by a byte array type of declarations. And we'll see in the examples later. So here we have two types of constructors specifically for this. String, it is a constructor, byte, character using ASCII character set. So that's why the array name given here ASCII chars, that is an optional. It is array name, and array type is byte. Okay, and with starting index and same num characters. The previous same two constructors, the same constructors type we are having here for byte characters. So here this array specifies the array of bytes. Array of bytes. The second form elusive subrange. We already know the how to use this type of constructor in string declarations, string objects. In each of these constructors here, conversion is taken place between this byte and character that we call as byte to character conversion. And this can be done by default character encoding of the platform. Where you are using these Java applications, in that platform, there it provides default character encoding that process this conversion of converting that byte array characters into the string characters in Java. Okay, clear? Next one example. I have a character, array of byte array with some values. Right. So all these are ASCII values. And we know that these are the uppercase characters like A, and 66 is represented ASCII character for bit uppercase B, uppercase C, uppercase D, and these two are E and F. All are uppercase alphabet character sequence. And I'm constructing one object of string S1 with constructor that accepts this character byte array as an object, as a parameter. And I'm trying to display this S1. So what happens in this statement is default character encoding of that platform where you are working with that program. One byte to character conversion is done. So this 65 is a byte value, and that is converted into a character and stored in this string S1 as a character. So this string S1 object displays the sequence of characters that are converted from that byte character or byte array like this A, B, C, D, F. So second constructor for this is I'm creating object S2 of this string with constructor taking this byte array as a parameter along with two integer values as we seen in the previous one 2, 3. So 2, 3 here it is starting index of this character or ASCII byte 0, 1, 2. And 3 it is 4 and 5. So only this part will take. Index 2 to 4, total 3 numbers are in use. So and those characters only converted into characters and loaded into or initialized into this S2 object of string. So when it is displayed on the screen, CDE by using system.out.println statement. Some extended versions of the byte to string constructors are also defined, in which you can specify the character encoding that determines how bytes are converted to characters. That is the default thing. We already discussed this one. So there byte to character constructors are available. The same way, the extended versions of the same for this is character encoding that converts byte to string. Byte to string as usual, that constructors are also available. Right? Next one. You will often want to use default encoding provided by the platform where you are currently working with this application. That platform provides you default encoding process. And the note points here, about this arrays with the string creation of objects. But the contents of array are copied whenever you create a string object. So most of the examples we covered with this type of constructors when we are creating an object of a string using arrays of characters. So if you modify the contents of the array after you have created the string will unchanged. The string will be unchanged. That is, it is by because the strings are mutable. Right? Why the strings are mutable in Java? When you ask in an interview, simply give when we change any character in a string is nothing but a group of characters. Every character has its own index and reference. When we change one reference, then the total remaining references of the string will be changed. So that's why, that is the reason the strings are immutable in Java. That are the not allowed to modify. The strings are not changeable, not modifiable. That is the reason. Once when we change any object or any character reference in the string, so all other references of the string will affect. So that's what here it is. You can construct a string from string buffer class, and using that constructor like this, then it is allowed to modify. So with the string constructor and passing one object of string buffer class, then it is allowed to modify that string. Okay. The same way you can do the same process with string builder class. So using the string constructor with object of string builder class. So later at the end of this chapter, string handling, we will see the differences between the string buffer and string builder classes. Why actually we required two types of classes for doing the same type of operation, that is modifying string. Okay. Next one, the following constructor supports the extended Unicode character set. And we have already pointed about this Unicode character set that follows to create work with character type in Java. So here it is a one special constructor for this. So string, you can use code points as an array. Starting index to number of characters, you can access those code points contains in the Unicode. So here code point is an array that contains any code points, and the resulting string is constructed from the range that begins at starting it and run for number of characters. And we know this thing, how to run these two values for initializing the string objects. And now here we are talking about some code points. So there are also constructors that let you specify a character set, and we'll discuss later. Thank you.